I'm going to demonstrate a semi-continuous method of making biodiesel here. This tank here is our waste vegetable oil tank. This here is the waste oil heating tank. These four are mixing and washing tanks, and this tank here is the drying tank. This one here is the final product, and this represents a pump. So when we come in the morning, these tanks here could be at any different stage, because each one of them takes 6 hours, and these here are both ready for heating, actually full of oil. Well, this one's full of wet biodiesel, this one's full of oil, and they're ready for heating. So the first thing we do when we come in the morning, switch on the heaters in that tank and that tank, and during the 1.5 hours that takes, we will be working on the process in these four mixing tanks, whether it needs washing, mixing, or draining glycerol, whatever's appropriate. So 1.5 hours later, first thing we can do is to shift this dry finished biodiesel into there. We then, because we've been working on these tanks, this one's now ready for drying, so that goes into there, into the drying tank, and then this is the hot oil, so this goes into here. So there's quite a few pumping operations. And then we refill this. Right, we can now turn on the heaters in this and this. And this one here has got hot vegetable oil in it, so we can add the, or we can start mixing it. It will have had methoxide in it, ready for mixing, so that's in the mixing stage. Right, so after 1.5 hours, this is dry. So we pump that out into there. This tank here is finished its mixing and washing, so that goes into there for drying. And then this one's got hot oil, so we've got pumped methoxide into there, and then add the hot oil. And replenish the heating tank. And then turn on all the heaters here and here for drying and heating again. So these heater tanks, well actually all the tanks are always full except for the actual pumping times. So where we are in the stage now, this one here is ready for drying. So before that, I'm going to have to empty that. That's the final product. We then pump that into there. So that's ready. We can actually turn that on straight away. So that'll be drying. This is the hot oil into the mixer tank. Put some more oil in here. And turn on the heaters in here. So now that one's just started, so this tank here is now ready for drying. The 6 hour process is finished in this tank now. So we dispose of this. That goes into the finished product because that's finished drying. And now pump this into here. Put the methoxide in there. Add the hot vegetable oil. Go through the 6 hour process in this one here. And top up the vegetable oil tank, ready for heating again. Right, now we've reached full circle. We're back at this tank here. Well, after 1.5 hours after that's got hot, and this has got hot and finished drying, this tank here is now full of wet biodiesel, and we're right back at the very start of the process where we were at this morning when we arrived. Now, it doesn't matter when you start or stop this process, because it can be any time, as long as you know what's going on in each one of these tanks. So, say you want to go home early, you just make a note of what the status is of these 3 tanks, and off you go. If you want to work late, again, you just work whenever you want, and just make a note of the status of the tanks when you leave. The only thing you don't want to do is to turn on the heaters in this tank and this tank and then leave before you've done anything with them.